Coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, we look at SummerSlam, which is tomorrow night on pay-per-view, and Be the Booker. Also, Impact Wrestling has a new night on Spike TV starting next week. We'll dig into that, along with your chance to win tickets to Ring of Honor Wrestling, which is Friday night right here in Milwaukee. All that coming up right here, right now on PWR Primetime Saturday night.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Tiberius Hero. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic, David.
Are you really? You're on SummerSlam Eve?
It's the eve of the Slam.
It is the eve of the biggest fight of the summer. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. We're going to talk about that in great detail later on Be the Booker. But let's get right down to this week's WWE report, and let's go back to this past Monday's Raw. It ended with, and it was touted as, the big birthday celebration for Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And we knew we would see surprises. We knew we would see special guests. But what we didn't know is that we wouldn't see but about 5 to 7 minutes of the actual birthday celebration on the USA Network.
It seemed a lot less than that, but we did get to see legends and icons and outsiders.
Wonderful.
That was awkward. I didn't appreciate that at all.
Why not?
Because he never came to the ring with that music.
Correct.
Okay.
But everyone needs music nowadays.
They could have done the WrestleMania theme song. Would have been fine. From WrestleMania 1. Would have been fine.
That is true.
Would have been fine. And then he has
yeah.
the big handlebar mustache that covers 3/4 of his face.
Well, I mean, he's a smaller man now. We know he's had some health issues. He's been on this very program, has Paul Orndorff.
You know, he can't flex because the one arm has the neuropathy, and then he had the throat cancer, so he can't speak. And Hogan and Orndorff, they don't care for each other.
Orndorff has been very vocal to that point, but he did show up for Hogan's birthday party. He could have said no.
But he was invited. Hogan wanted him to be there. Everyone that was there is who Hogan wanted to be there.
So what does that say?
It was weird. Wasn't it?
Roddy Piper, Mean Gene Okerlund, Jimmy Hart,
Ric Flair,
The Outsiders, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall.
I'm surprised the Nasty Boys weren't there.
I'm sorry?
The Nasty, those are his guys.
What about Brutus, the barber?
Ooh, yeah.
Beefcake.
Yeah, well. But they had Hall and Nash, and, you know, it was, for what it was good.
Well, we'll hear more from you later in DWHS on this particular segment and on WWE Raw from this past Monday night. We're continuing to talk about Raw. How about the beginning of the program, Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, selling us SummerSlam?
They did exactly what they had to do, because obviously they need to sell the network, not SummerSlam. They're selling the network, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which, again, is the inherent problem with, unfortunately, some consumers is they're selling the SummerSlam pay-per-view, which you can get on the network for $9.99 if you subscribe for $9.99 a month. I am certain many subscribers or many consumers think that they have to get the network and then buy the pay-per-view.
You think people are that silly? I don't want to say stupid or dumb or ignorant, but...
I think that there could be some market confusion, yes.
Well, you would know. You're the man of the people.
I'm the people of the man.
Okay.
Dangerous cigars.
Heyman's a great talker. He is. He knows how to sell pay-per-views because he had to sell his own company on pay-per-view.
That he
right?
did.
He really did.
Check out the Paul Heyman DVD.
I have not seen it yet.
It's not available, by the way. It's back, ordered by months on Amazon.com. Retailers generally are sold out of it.
I'm going to watch it online. You can download it online, can't you?
Amazon Prime? Yes, you can.
Yes.
That's how I watched it.
That's how I'm going to do it. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
It was a phenomenal
Did it entertain you?
Work. It was very entertaining. It was very enlightening. And
what was the most enlightening thing you saw?
When Paul Heyman called SmackDown the B show, and he didn't use the word, he used a word instead of B.
Oh, the ex-wife word.
So, John Cena did the same thing. Cut a promo, talked about SummerSlam, actually challenged Brock Lesnar to come on out and fight. They would go face-to-face later on in the birthday celebration, but these two did
Who's
what
more
they needed
believable,
to do.
John Cena or Paul Heyman to sell it?
Paul Heyman, because everything he says is true. You can't really argue with any point he makes or has made recently.
What did you like the most? What was the one point that just like, wow, I can't believe he went there? I was surprised he rapped. That's where I was thrown off.
He went everywhere he normally goes. The rap wasn't actually all that good. Everybody's just saying it was.
No, but I mean, For Paul Heyman?
When was the last time John Cena rapped?
Last year?
The connection was missed. We're going to take a brief time out, actually, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to Linda, who's going to talk to you about how you can win tickets to Ring of Honor Wrestling, which is Friday night at Turner Hall.
Ring of Honor?
PWR is giving away tickets to Ring of Honor Wrestling in Milwaukee. All you need to do is tweet along with us during the show tonight using the hashtag PWRTV to qualify to win. At the end of tonight's broadcast, we'll announce the winner who will receive 2 tickets to ROH next Friday night at Turner Hall. So keep those tweets coming and you will qualify to see Ring of Honor live.
Ring of Honor Wrestling Friday night. We'll hear more about that in the Event Center. Thank you, Linda, and continue to tweet along with us and win tickets to ROH. But continuing to talk about WWE Raw, how about Stephanie McMahon revealing that Daniel Bryan's personal trainer had relations with Daniel Bryan? A lot of people hated this segment.
They hated it because it reminded them of AJ Styles in TNA Impact Wrestling.
And Blair Witch, was that her name?
Claire
Lynch.
Claire Lynch. Very similar. I don't think they needed it. I mean, Daniel Bryan's not even on TV. And if that's how they want to keep him relevant on TV, they could have done some other things.
But this story is all about emotion.
Why not have Brie look for somebody? Why does Daniel have to?
What do you mean?
Well, say Brie is the one that's stepping out. That way it's more heat on her, and that brings Daniel out, instead of having the heat on him who's not even on TV.
Roman Reigns defeats Ryback, but he does so by disqualification. I thought it was smart. I think a lot of people expected him to dominate this handicap match that was made by Kane, who is now back to the maskless Director of Operations role. And Reigns still showed to be very strong, however, not showed to be too strong to fight off Ryback.
He shouldn't beat Ryback in a handicap match. I mean, you got, Curtis Axel's a former IC champion, Ryback, former main event star. He shouldn't beat both those guys in a handicap match. It was well done.
Heath Slater gets another win. However, this time it was via countout over Dolph Ziggler. Heath Slater's on a winning streak.
You're happy about that, aren't you?
Well, he won me
You're a Heath Slater guy.
He won me the very first PWR draft.
And he is the favorite wrestler of the PWR show's executive assistant.
The Pro Wrestling Report's executive assistant?
Yeah, Sarah McDermott. Sarah McDermott.
Is that right?
She loves gingers.
Well, she is, what do you mean, like gingerbread cookies?
Yeah, gingerbread men. Isn't that what he is?
Overall, what did you think of WWE Raw this week?
I thought it was a solid show going into SummerSlam. Do I think it was the show they needed going into SummerSlam? No. They could have done some more stuff. I think the birthday party ended flat in the not sell pay-per-view eyes.
Well, still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got this week's hot news, Be the Booker for SummerSlam, and the Event Center. All that coming up next, right here on Primetime.
Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR show and be part of the conversation.
Welcome to PWR Hot News, bringing you the biggest wrestling news stories of the week. Former WWE star Alberto Del Rio has announced that he will be returning to Mexico's AAA for an event tomorrow night. The video released on Thursday was Del Rio's first comments since his WWE release last week. TNA star Kurt Angle was recently a guest on Mark Madden's Pittsburgh radio show and revealed details of his TNA contract, saying he was contracted to work 40 days a year for the company. Angle also stated that he feels the door is always open for him to return to WWE, and that no matter where he ends up, he plans to work no more than 8 days per month after 15 years of wrestling. That's it for this week's Hot News.
Thank you, Linda, for this week's hot news, and it's time to go into this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report. Big news coming out of TNA earlier this week, as Impact is going to be moving to Wednesday nights starting next week on Spike TV. Now, TNA President Dixie Carter said the following in a press release sent out Thursday regarding the move. And I quote, "Moving Impact Wrestling to Wednesday night gives existing fans and new viewers an opportunity to enjoy both wrestling and live sports even more throughout the week." That coming from TNA President Dixie Carter.
Well, you can take it one of two ways. Either one way you can take it is that SmackDown is rumored to be going to Thursday nights. So Impact...
That's what the trucks say.
Impact, well, maybe it was a, autocorrect error. Maybe they don't want to go head to head with SmackDown. And let's not forget, NFL football is coming soon. That's going to be on Thursday nights.
Oh, live sports. I think she said
so
it. So
maybe they want to move out of that conundrum they could get themselves into. Or maybe they're not going to get a new TV deal with Spike, and Spike says like, hey, we're just going to move you guys to the Twilight Zone on Wednesday night.
What do you mean Twilight Zone? Wednesday's the only night without wrestling. It's perfect for Impact Wrestling.
But Wednesday night is always traditionally one of the lowest rated nights on Spike. All they have is
Impact's their highest rated show, probably, since it's on Thursdays, or was.
I'm just telling you, I know how TV works.
You know you don't.
They're trying to bury either they're trying to bury the show as it goes away, or they're trying to save it from a demolition derby with the NFL and SmackDown.
You got Raw on Mondays.
Yes.
You have nothing on Tuesdays.
You have main event on Tuesdays.
Oh, that is true, on the WWE Network. On Wednesdays, now you have Impact. On Thursdays, you have NXT. On Fridays, SmackDown.
Right.
It's actually very, very smart. In addition to the fact that the NFL Network will start airing its games on Thursday nights if they haven't already. So why compete against something you don't need to compete against?
That's what I just said.
No, you just said they were being buried by Spike TV.
I said it's one of two things. You need to pay attention to what I'm saying.
Maybe if you were clear in what you were saying, it would be easier to do so.
I say as much stuff as I can.
It's a great move for Spike TV. And whether or not SmackDown's actually moving to Thursdays, here's the facts on that. There was a misprint or early release on a print on WWE production trucks, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It said SmackDown Thursdays on Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi has not yet released their fall schedule. That could be the case. They could be moving. If so, it is smart, if that was one of the reasons, it is smart that TNA did this now, that Spike TV did this now, to make it look as if it is a move that they chose to do, as opposed to a reactionary move to being up against
It's a chosen
WWE.
Reactionary move is what it really is.
It was smart. Well done. Speaking of well done, how about that matchup between Team 3D and the Hardys on Impact this past Thursday
It's amazing how 15 years ago, those two tag teams can still go.
They hadn't been in the ring together, I believe, in 12 years, and they did have a contest, but the contest and the fact that Team 3D won that matchup was less relevant than the fact that both of the teams called out the Wolves and endorsed the Wolves and gave them the rub, if you will.
Well, they did, and it's good for business because they need other tag teams in TNA Impact Wrestling to rise to the occasion. Right now, they don't have any other tag teams. You have the Bromans that haven't been doing much except working with the Menagerie, and that's it. And then you have Gunner and Ken Anderson with Sam Shaw, but they're not getting along. So the Wolves are a solid, good, young tag, not young, but they're a solid, good tag team.
You know, we have a little bit of a problem, ladies and gentlemen. An endorsed talent sits in jail right now.
Del Rio?
He should not be, because he does have, as he said on Impact this past Thursday, diplomatic immunity. Rockstar Spud.
Oh, Rockstar Spud.
He and Ethan Carter are arrested. Great segment. It was well done. Except they probably shouldn't have hit the cops.
You never do that. I mean, they're not in Ferguson. You know? It's like, come on, what's wrong with you?
That's this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now take it on over to David Hero with this week's DWHS, talking a little bit more about this past Monday's Raw.
Monday night, the WWE celebrated Hulk Hogan's birthday. Mean Gene Okerlund, Paul Orndorff, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and the Outsiders all made the trip to Portland to celebrate Hulkamania. Then it happened. The celebration turned into a commercial for the WWE Network. Brock Lesnar crashed the party, which brought out John Cena for a final push for SummerSlam that you can watch on the network if you subscribe for $9.99 a month. For 3 hours, we were told of the birthday party, only to have it switch over to the network to watch the rest of it. I get it. They need the network to succeed for the financial success of the company, but I don't think that was the best opportunity. Some content the fans deserve to see for free. Hulk Hogan's birthday party should not have to be pay-per-view. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee for Death Before Dishonor 12 at the Turner Hall Ballroom Friday, August 22nd at 7:30 p.m. with appearances by the phenomenal AJ Styles, the Young Bucks, Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian, ROH legends the Briscoes, the new world champ Michael Elgin, and many more. Experience body slamming, brain busting pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Join PWR in a private suite at the Staples Center for SummerSlam and see the show in style. Tickets are available now at pwrshow.com for the low price of only $150 each. See ROH Wrestling when they return to Turner Hall Friday night, August 22nd for Death Before Dishonor 12. Several matches have been announced, including an ROH World Championship match with the champ Unbreakable Michael Elgin taking on Milwaukee's own The Last Real Man Silas Young. Also, the phenomenal AJ Styles takes on Kyle O'Reilly, along with several other matches. Tickets are available now at ROHWrestling.com, but you can win tickets right now. Tweet along with us during the show and use the hashtag PWRTV, and you'll be entered to win. Winners will be announced on Twitter at the end of the show. PWR is pleased to bring shenanigans back to WrestleMania. This year's event will take place in San Jose, California on Friday, March 27th, and tickets will go on sale soon at PWRshow.com. We guarantee that it'll be the biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend. And that's it for this week's Event Center.
Thank you, Linda Kay, Damian Nelson, David Hero here back in the studio on Primetime, and it is time for Be the Booker. Be the Booker, where we look at tomorrow's SummerSlam event and talk about how he would book the show if he were the man holding the pencil, and he is holding a dry erase marker. So let's get right down to it, and the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line as Dolph Ziggler takes on The Miz.
And both guys are Hollywood kind of guys. The Miz is the movie star, must-see champion.
Who's the Professor?
The Professor? That'd be Dean Ambrose.
What about Marianne?
That's AJ Lee.
Movie star?
Paige. They're all there, every one of them. But Dolph Ziggler, the challenger against The Miz for the IC Championship.
This here belt.
Dolph Ziggler, you got to believe he's the favorite. I mean, the fans want Dolph Ziggler to win. They've been waiting for Dolph Ziggler to win.
Yes.
And nobody cares about The Miz. They really don't.
This guy.
He's uneventful.
He was the first endorsed talent.
Yes, he is.
He was the endorsed of endorsements.
And what's happened since then?
He then went on to become the WWE champion and headline WrestleMania.
Yes, and that's been about it.
He did it.
That's why Dolph Ziggler will be leaving SummerSlam as the new IC champion, keeping everybody happy and ecstatic.
He is endorsed.
He is endorsed.
The Divas Championship will be on the line as AJ Lee goes one-on-one with Paige. Love the build-up to this match.
I think this match has potential to be a great Divas match. AJ Lee has been on fire since her return. Paige.
That girl is on fire?
Yes, that girl is on fire.
Ah, yes.
Paige has been on a roll since she's gone the route of the bad girl. I enjoy her character that much more. It makes more sense, more entertaining. Paige will win another new champion at SummerSlam.
Really?
Paige, she needs to. If she can't beat AJ Lee at SummerSlam, then her career goes backwards. And there's no other divas ready right now for her.
A lumberjack matchup. Dean Ambrose selected that stipulation in his matchup with Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins.
Is the briefcase on the line?
No.
If he could have picked any stipulation for the match, why wouldn't he say, if you lose, I get the briefcase? Why? Because Dean Ambrose is insane.
Ah!
Right?
Yes, that's what I hear.
He's kabuki-ish. Lumberjack match is a great way for everyone on the roster to get a payday. And that's what they're going to do.
It's going to be a lot of points for you. It's going to help.
Yeah, I'm already winning. It's a coin flip match for me. I'm really not sure. Ambrose needs the win because they've kept him apart for so long. Seth Rollins, if he can't lose the briefcase, Dean Ambrose gets the victory.
Why can't you hold the marker this week? What's going on?
You know what?
You nervous or something?
I am. I'm a little jittery today.
Oh. Dean Ambrose gets the win over Seth Rollins. What does that mean for Seth Rollins, member of the Authority?
It means nothing because he still keeps the briefcase.
It's a flag match, ladies and gentlemen, which means the flags will be on a pole on opposite corners of the ring.
So the first one to get the flag wins, right?
Yes. Rusev will take on Jack Swagger. Now in Rusev's corner will be Lana. Oh, Lana, won't you marry me now? And in Swagger's corner will be none other
if that's
than
the match, then it's a no-brainer because as long as the Russian flag isn't being raised to the top of the Staples Center.
No one knows that's the Russian flag, though. Everyone still expects the the old one.
But
now that's
Rusev,
not saying you're stupid.
It's
that's
a safe.
saying it's not as familiar.
And this way, no one taps, no one loses. Russia doesn't beat the U.S. You can grab the flag and win. It's safe. It's a, como se dice, politically correct match.
That's Spanish.
It is?
You know Russian?
No.
I know Bulgarian a little bit.
I know Russian.
Kaksi.
Caviar. What?
Kaksi.
Well, if you say so.
Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, ladies and gentlemen. I was simply asking how you were. Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. Chris Jericho got the win last month. What happens here at SummerSlam?
Boy, Bray Wyatt, if he can defeat Chris Jericho without his cronies, what a big victory it is for Bray Wyatt, isn't it?
Well, Luke Harper and
Eric Rowan.
Are banned from ringside for this matchup.
You have to believe that Jericho's the favorite, but if he's the part-time guy that does an occasional house show, you got to put over the young stud, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt defeats Chris Jericho.
Jericho has stated recently, though, that he has he's out after the September pay-per-view. Is there one more match?
Maybe a cage match.
Bray Wyatt gets another win at that point to solidify his place.
Absolutely.
All right, well, interesting. So far, you would say here at SummerSlam tomorrow in Los Angeles, where we'll be at the Staples Center from a suite enjoying the show. Dolph Ziggler retains his Intercontinental Championship. Paige wins the Divas Championship. Dean Ambrose wins the Lumberjack match. Rusev grabs the Russian flag.
Yes. He grabs
and wins the match over Jack Swagger. And Bray Wyatt defeats Chris Jericho. Well, there's two more big matchups to talk about, and really it's interesting that one of them is what I consider to be the main event. That's Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. It's one of the main events, in my opinion.
Okay.
We'll talk about that match along with Cena and Brock Lesnar when we come back here on Be the Booker on PWR Primetime.
Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR show and be part of the conversation.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
To catch the best pro wrestling on the planet, Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee for Death Before Dishonor 12 at the Turner Hall Ballroom Friday, August 22nd at 7:30 p.m. with appearances by the phenomenal AJ Styles, the Young Bucks, Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian, ROH legends the Briscoes, the new world champ Michael Elgin, and many more. Experience body slamming, brain busting pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson standing alongside David Hero, and Be the Booker continues for SummerSlam, which is tomorrow night on pay-per-view on the WWE Network, but not on pay-per-view on the WWE Network.
We're going to be there live
on your cable or satellite providers, but free on the WWE Network.
You're so wordy. We're going to be there live. That's all they need to know.
We talked about the other matches, or some of the other matches so far. Let's talk about the two big matchups on the card, the two matches that have gotten the most focus, the most attention, and one of them is Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie, I don't believe, has wrestled a match in some 10 years in WWE. She is a former Divas champion. What will we see tomorrow at SummerSlam?
We are going to see a completely jacked Stephanie McMahon come to the ring in the best shape of her entire life, who will tower over Brie Bella and put the boots to her. Stephanie McMahon is a tough chick, and I fully expect her to go all out and show the world that she is the dominant diva in the Divas division.
What do you say?
Well, I gotta believe that with a little help of Nikki Bella, I think Stephanie's gonna defeat Brie. Because there's no way Brie can beat Stephanie, the boss. She just hold too much power over her.
But Stephanie has held, she's been coming out of every week sort of with the upper hand on Brie.
She's the boss.
Since the arrest.
I know, I understand that. But I'm sure Brie will win. But if I'm booking this pay-per-view, Stephanie McMahon needs to beat Brie Bella. She does. Because then you have a beaten and broken Brie Bella, who now has doubt that her husband is having an affair with his physical therapist, which just makes her more of a victim and more of a babyface for the following month. It's a more compelling story.
All right.
I'm booking it. I have Stephanie McMahon winning the match.
What if no one wins this match?
Somebody has to win.
Someone has to win?
Absolutely.
Well, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as John Cena defends against Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar has told us that there is no chance he will lose this match. John Cena has told us that he will be destroyed in this match, but he will not lose his championship. How would you make this the biggest fight of the summer, David Hero, transpire tomorrow night at the Staples
There's only
Center?
one thing you can do. The guy that ended the Undertaker streak needs to go in and beat John Cena.
The one behind the one in 21-1?
Absolutely. If he doesn't beat John Cena, then defeating the streak was for nothing.
I asked you a couple of weeks ago on this broadcast if Brock Lesnar should ever lose another match in WWE, and you said yes, on his way out.
On his way out.
This is not on his way out.
Absolutely not. On his way out will be at a WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar defeats John Cena. He becomes the new champion. And everything, the landscape will then change in the WWE. When Brock Lesnar comes out of Monday Night Raw in Las Vegas as the champion.
At the Mandalay Bay Event Center.
Everything's different.
Got a great pool at Mandalay Bay.
That's what I hear.
There's a wave pool there. And
you swim?
frequently.
I didn't know that.
How do you think I stay so svelte? Brock Lesnar, new WWE World Heavyweight Champion tomorrow night at SummerSlam is what you say should and will happen.
It has to happen.
The rest of the card, folks, Dolph Ziggler retains the Intercontinental Championship. Paige becomes the new Divas Champion. Dean Ambrose
Dolph
wins.
Ziggler wins. He doesn't retain.
Ah, that is true. Wins. My apologies. Dean Ambrose wins the Lumberjack match over Seth Rollins. Rusev takes the Russian flag and declares victory. Bray Wyatt over Chris Jericho. And Stephanie McMahon will defeat Brie Bella all tomorrow night on SummerSlam. Now, we'll be live tweeting, of course, from the Staples Center. You can follow us on Twitter at PWR Show or at Damian Nelson or at WCW Meathead. And
what?
follow along as we talk SummerSlam tomorrow from Los Angeles.
What's a meathead?
For that one, ladies and gentlemen, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you Friday night at Turner Hall for Ring of Honor Wrestling.